Ready?
Ready.
I didn't do this here. Welcome to the Advent Podcast Ep3 this week.
I'm Pastor Kurt.
And I am not. I am Jake. I am the other person in this room right now. Yes, there's only two of us in this room.
Today we're going to talk about awkward ways to introduce yourself. So,
And let's run through our greatest clips.
not inaccurate.
Yes.
So, today we're going to be talking about joy and best and worst foods of the holiday, right?
Yes.
Are we doing
season?
of Christmas or of Christmas season? Like, does that include Thanksgiving and New Year?
I think it's open to interpretation.
I'm going to say just Christmas.
I think there were no official rules to this, and we're just kind of making it up as we go.
Okay.
So welcome to Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Woo!
But yeah, I just imagined the Christmas season.
Okay.
So
all right.
That's where
I did just Christmas. So okay.
Okay.
All right. So during this season, we got some help from some of our friends to see what some of their best and worst of the season were. So we're going to hear from them.
Do you know who these friends are?
No, I don't know who's. I didn't. I know I made the list, but that's been like 6 weeks ago. We have had a few things happen in our house since then.
So we are going to see today from Carol and Vicky.
Carol and Vicky, best and
worst,
or favorite and
I mean, I don't remember what they said.
I wonder. Okay, I'll look forward to hearing this. Go.
Hi, I'm Carol.
And I'm Vicky.
We're going to be talking about Christmas food. At our house, we have some Christmas traditions we do every year. My family comes over Christmas Eve, and it takes us forever to figure out what we're going to have, whether we're going to have a fun time with appetizers and all kinds of different foods, or whether we want a nice dinner. What do you do?
Well, when I was growing up, we always had my one grandmother over, and I really hated the oysters and the oyster dressing. Loved the sausage dressing, but now that we have our family over, that's different, and we get kind of traditional. We do turkey and ham, and then we're trying to eat healthier, so I've introduced them to Brussels sprouts, and they all seem to like it. So,
not my family. Yeah, as a child, my dad always had to have oyster dressing, and I would cook it, and just cooking those oysters were not the greatest experience. They're kind of nasty, but anyway. But yeah, our family, like I said, we do Christmas Eve. I stress probably too much about, for 6 of us, what fun recipe I can find for Christmas Eve, something different that everyone might eat, which that's another story sometimes. But then Christmas morning, they're all back, my family, for breakfast. And we do our traditional breakfast casseroles. And I have to make about 3 different ones to make sure everybody really likes what they're getting to eat for Christmas morning. And we'll have like cinnamon rolls and different things before we open Christmas.
Well, we don't ever get together on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. We had a problem with Amy and Todd having their kids every other holiday, and Angela working every other holiday on opposite days usually. So we just get together as close around Christmas, and actually we call it, Quinlan started calling it Thanksmas, because we kind of start Thanksgiving-y and end up Christmassy.
Whatever works, yeah.
And they always liked my homemade rolls, so we always do those.
Yeah.
And usually sent homemade cinnamon rolls home with them. And we usually, Melody bakes cookies when she comes over, and I baked cookies, and so we send them home with goodies when they go.
Yeah, I have certain baked things that my family's different people like different things. So spend a lot of time cooking, and even though it's stressful, it becomes fun. And it's all about getting together with your family and loving them and just being together. That's the main thing. I will remember one year, for some dinner, I didn't have deviled eggs. And nobody really likes them, but I always fix them. And later, my son-in-law goes, "You didn't have deviled eggs." And everybody goes, "Yeah, why didn't you do that?" I said, "Because nobody really likes them. But you always have them." So, I think it's just what people get used to in your families. And it's just so much fun to get together and celebrate the blessing of Christmas. And I think each of us are so blessed to be able to be with our families at Christmas. And some aren't, but always need to be thankful.
And Jeremy usually brought over the newest game. So then we'd play games afterwards, ones we'd never heard of, but they were fun. And that was a fun time. Or the girls like to do arts and crafts. And so we would do things like that. But usually spend the whole day when we did get together.
Yeah, it's always a fun time. Christmas, I think, is very meaningful in our family. And then it's Christmas Eve, the late service. And the traditions, I think if I'd go off the rails, my family would be really upset if we didn't do the Christmas Eve dinner like we always do it, breakfast. And it's just what you do every year. And sometimes you think, oh, I'm tired of doing this every year. But it's so important to get together with your family and have food and just enjoy each other and love each other.
Amen to that.
Well, all right. So I got to say, I've enjoyed hearing from other people with the songs one. I don't know what it was about Cindy Pulley's saying Elvis's Blue Christmas.
Yep.
Blue Christmas by Elvis Presley. Cindy, you have some emotion. Please, let's talk about this.
What's great about that is that after we stopped, she said, I like Blue Christmas by everybody else except for Elvis.
Really?
Yeah. It's fascinating. It's the things that don't make the final cut.
Cindy, I have questions. That's just okay.
Anyway,
Well,
so what is you want to start with your favorite or least favorite foods?
I'll start
Christmas?
with the favorite. We'll go with best and then worst.
Sounds good.
Growing up, my mom would always make sugar cream pie, which was like, it's an Indiana thing, evidently. I didn't know that. But it was, and my grandmother would bring butterscotch pie with, oh my gosh.
That sounds
and
delicious.
it was like such a challenge because in the days before I had free choice, when my parents controlled, I couldn't have one of everything.
Yeah.
And then I got one of everything. And then, So, but my mom's sugar cream pie was the best. And then after I got married, Elizabeth had never had it. So we made it and she liked it. But, we have, since getting the celiac diagnosis, we've tried to be more health conscientious. And so one year, when we were living in Wabash, we had a big old garden. We lived out in the country and we had zucchini out the wazoo. I mean, and what do you do with zucchini? You give it to your neighbors. Well, when you live in the middle of a soybean or cornfield, the neighbors leave.
Yeah.
And they don't take the zucchini. So we pureed it and froze it. And had like quarts of pureed zucchini. What do you do with all of this? We found you could use it for a soup base instead of cream of whatever soup for people who are celiac, because cream of whatever soup has gluten. And for some reason, we decided to use it in a pudding recipe and found out, you know what it does? If you put sugar, cornstarch, it mimics sugar cream pie.
Oh,
so we make zucchini pie for
interesting.
Christmas. It is ridiculously healthy.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
hello, would you like some death?
your arteries aren't happy unless that blood's going through single file. Excuse me, pardon me. Right?
Yeah.
So, but we made it for my dad without telling him because it's his favorite, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, this is different, but it's really good. What'd you do different?
That's awesome.
It's zucchini. Awesome. So what's your favorite?
Very cool. So I don't really have a favorite per se. I will say whenever it's Christmas time, I always go straight for any kind of bread. So like the rolls, the crescent rolls, homemade rolls, anything like that. Emily's family, I think her sister sometimes makes like a corn casserole. Delicious. And they use corn that was like from like the spring, and they cut it off and froze it. So having that in the middle of winter is amazing.
Yeah.
And then the only like vivid memory that I have around like Christmas foods that I enjoy is whenever we would go up to my grandparents' house, Walt and Nancy, in the log cabin and everything, they would always have this punch. And so I just associate Christmas with having this punch. And it's just cranberry juice and Sprite, but that's what it is.
But it doesn't matter. It has to, part of the reason it tastes good is because of the memories.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now that we don't go up to the log cabin because they don't own it anymore and everything, but my mom, she makes it every year at Christmas, just stirs it all up together, and it still brings back the memories and everything. I love it so much. It's delicious and it's simple to make, but having it any other season will not taste the same as having it at Christmas time.
No, it doesn't. Isn't that weird?
It is super weird.
Isn't it weird?
But anyway, can I go to my worst?
Yeah, go ahead and
Flip side of delicious drinks is eggnog.
You're not an eggnog person?
No, not an eggnog person.
So when I made eggnog for the staff, you just didn't?
I tried it, and I had some. It's just, I can't. I just can't.
Of course, my eggnog was different than what you get.
That is very true. You have definitely some interesting eggnog.
It was good.
Yeah, it was. But I can't force myself. In a couple of weeks when we talk about movies, I'll talk about some movies that other people love that I'm just like, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So that tune back in, that's the Christmas Eve one. Yeah.
I had an idea for that too, so I'll tell you about it.
We'll table it later and see if he remembers after recording this episode. But eggnog is not one of my favorites. And then the other one, going back to Grandma's, ham loaf. Every year she would make ham loaf. And it's ham grounded up into a loaf.
Right.
And she puts some the brown sugar stuff on top.
Wow, yeah.
And it's just, I remember me and my sister going there. It's like, oh, we're going to Grandma's house. Yay, what are we having for dinner? Ham loaf. Ugh. And it's just, there's one year she had some pineapple sauce thing on the side. And so me and my sister, we both just doused our ham loaf in it. And that was the only time I remember eating it.
We've got some pineapple sauce with ham loaf.
It was more pineapple than anything, but yeah, ham loaf. I couldn't.
Just can't.
Yeah, I would eat a piece. I would douse it in salt and stuff, but then it's just that was it.
I forget who it was, and I think it was at my last church. Who their family did ham loaf, and his wife didn't like it. Yeah. So he always got her. She always put some because everybody loved it.
Yeah,
and so he would get hers. And his siblings, but they would throw elbows to get.
Gosh,
if there was one piece left, somebody's going down.
I would gladly give them my piece.
Got a Christmas black eye.
Yeah, loaves are saved for breads in my opinion, but that's me. So, what about yours? You got any?
Let's see. Pickled elf nostril. It's just
what?
Pickled elf nostril. Have you never done this?
No.
It is an European, Eastern European delicacy that you
certainly something
that I'm making up.
I'm going to be googling this here in a second.
I want to see what your Google search returns with.
This will be something.
Pickled elf nostril.
Pickled elf nostril. I see a lot of pickles. Pickled scarlet elf cup mushroom something. Does not refer to a real food item, recipe, or a specific culture dish. It appears to be fictional, whimsical, or nonsensical phrase.
Look, I'm whimsical or nonsensical. You choose.
I think we all have our own opinions on that.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Actually, mine is bad chocolate.
Bad chocolate. What makes it bad?
So we would get whether from the Santa at the store at the mall or sometimes different family members, grandparents would buy chocolate at I don't know where.
Yeah.
But you would get it and it would
like chalky.
Yeah,
like
you know,
chalky chocolate,
or they
chalky
would have the marshmallow covered Santa, the chocolate covered marshmallow Santas that just
stale.
It tasted like it had been made a decade before and forgotten right next to the pickled elf nostrils that got canned in 1964,
right,
and left on the shelf.
It was a box left over from last year, and they found it and pulled it out.
Or in line with the bad chocolate, when you got the samplers, you know, that had and you always had like one or two you liked.
Yep.
And then you would get the one that you were like,
And with the samplers, I always hated. I love the chocolates, but when you open it up and you don't know what's what,
right? Because they don't have the map.
They don't have the label and the map. Yeah. And so you pick one. I'm like, oh, you smell it. It smells like chocolate first off. But then you take a bite and it's like, for me, it'd be like cherry. Like, I don't like the chocolate covered cherries. I bite into it. I see the red and it's,
Yeah, I like chocolate covered cherries, but there were some, I can't remember any flavors because we haven't done those samplers because gluten,
right?
For a while, for more than a decade, but that was what I remember, and I know my siblings, we would get one together. My parents would get us, and we'd have to share, and you know they knew which ones I liked, and would always go for those first because they were evil. Krampus is coming for you, Ted and Laura. Krampus is coming for you. He holds a grudge and he doesn't forget. Anyway, so that's when I think of bad food Christmas memories.
Yeah,
that and oyster stuffing. God, my grandmother would always bring it, and my mom was allergic to fish, and I was like, "Why seafood? Why are you doing this?" Evil woman. God bless her.
It's one of those tradition things. It's like we've always done it.
Hello, here's my Christian tradition. I'm coming to kill you.
It seems like it's on theme for your family.
Jeez.
Yeah, connected that joke there.
That was brutal. Man, grandmothers are getting taken down today.
Wow, so less food you have to prepare. So.
Yeah. There's one more angel in heaven.
Anyway,
you haven't seen that musical because he hasn't seen Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Nope.
Because Jake still is an uncultured swine.
Yes, correct. I will not be turned into a loaf, though. So
you better get watching something because cultured swine are left alone in the
goodness
in the barnyard.
So anyway, as we switch to something more less ridiculous, I guess. Hopefully, I don't know. What's Sunday gonna look like?
So this coming Sunday is Sunday of Joy. We are going to talk about different. We are going to talk about different foods and what your favorites are, but we're going to talk about, as part of Advent, John the Baptist got people ready for Jesus coming the first time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the passage focuses on John, and it ends with, well, it doesn't end with, it's in the middle of a story where John's disciples come to Jesus to find out, are you the one?
Are you the guy?
Are you the guy? Are you Mashiach, the Messiah? And so we're going to talk about part of being ready for the culmination of all things is that there are costs to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who will oppose you showing love, showing mercy, showing compassion, being a person of grace. And there's a cost. John paid it with his life, being imprisoned first, but for all of us. And so where do we find joy knowing that we are building for the kingdom of God and that everything is remembered in God? Even when things are not happy.
Not happier when things go against us, when there's that pressure to cave and not do the joy.
I use the word happy because it's in our founding document. What is our, we have the right to life, liberty, and
Pursuit of happiness.
pursuit of happiness. What they meant by happiness is something different than what we mean, because language changes over time. But this, when things aren't easy, when you're doing something meaningful and good, sometimes I've had people say, I just want my kids to be happy, and I say I want my kids to be good, because happiness is a byproduct of a life well lived, and joy endures where happiness fades. Happiness, I think, is momentary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Joy is the byproduct of a life well lived. Happiness is situational. And Dave Ramsey would say, you can buy happy, you can buy fun.
Right.
But you can't buy contentment. You can't buy joy. So the theme of joy, as when Christ returns, when all things are made right, rejoice. Again, I will say it, rejoice, Paul says in Philippians 4. So where are the places where you find joy? Where do you find the joy of God? Think about when your kids, when they've been struggling and they get it, and you're like, that pride, that satisfaction, that good job, kid.
Right.
You feel that deep.
Yeah, and the confidence, I think that's the word I would use.
Yeah.
So when a kid, like, going along with that, they're struggling, they get the aha moment, they get it, but then they're confident that they can do it again, and it wasn't just a one-time thing. Or self-confidence when you're having a bad day or whatever, and then you have that moment where you're like, you think back to the truths that right? And then you think back, all these other things don't matter. These are the truths. This is who I am. And then your confidence kind of gets revitalized. Very much the same thing.
Yeah. So joy is the theme. So what brings you joy? Not happiness, not that momentary fleeting. I mean, last night we were watching through Dropout. Have you ever watched Dropout stuff? And some of the shows on there, and we laughed. It was great fun. But at dinner we had a very in-depth conversation about life and where my kids are right now and what's going on in the world, and we laughed, but we also, I mean, the world's weird right now.
Yeah.
And my kids made some, good connections, and so this is how that works. We had a great conversation, and for as much as we laughed watching Dropout, it's that conversation at dinner that just makes me go, that was good stuff.
Right.
That was worth wow.
And with the world being weird, going back to what you were talking about earlier about John, when we try to do what's good and the world is telling us we shouldn't, and there are going to be consequences for you doing the right thing sometimes.
Right.
I mean, the world wants us to be divided right now. Right. The world wants us to be, I'm right, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But we need to move past that. I think our society as a whole here in the United States is kind of getting to that spot where it's like, this divisiveness isn't working. We need to be figuring it out together,
right?
Because this isn't working for anybody.
Yeah.
And so that brings me hope that in the next 10 years or so, we can get more back to us being a society together as opposed to our little factions and everything like that. But
I hope our people realize that those who are factionalizing us, they're profiting off your fear. And it really is hard to be joyful when you are just filled with fear.
Right.
Whereas when you're filled with hope, even when things are scary, you can face it.
Right.
Because you have hope, right?
Yeah.
When all you're doing is being pushed down, shamed, made afraid, it's hard to go, yeah, we can do this.
Right. And it goes back to those, what do you know is true?
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Those, we've been starting to do some like positive affirmation stuff in our house.
Mm.
And like, okay, so if you are struggling, if you are overwhelmed, if you are freaking out, if you're in the middle of like an emotional moment or whatever, go back to the truths that you know,
Mhm.
start there. And that kind of is like your refocusing, recenter point.
Yeah.
And then from there, you can take the little baby steps to get moving to what you know is true.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to get things done.
Yeah. Sounds like a similar process I use when I'm working with people through their trauma.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we got Sunday. I'm looking forward to it.
Mhm.
It'll be we're on the 10 days till Christmas Eve at that point.
Yeah.
And
It's coming quick. Yep.
Yeah, we got a lot to do before then.
Yep.
Oi, I need to drink the coffee.
So-
help.
As Kurt drinks his coffee here, where are you going to show joy to the people around you this week? Where are you going to find joy in your surroundings? What are you going to do to fight the divisiveness and the pulling apart from what you know to be true?
Yeah. And you can't force people to have joy, but you can foster an environment where it's more possible.
Right.
When we are in a whether it's a work situation, school, community group, whatever, the ways we show up help other people experience these, fruit of the Spirit in this case.
Yeah.
Or not experience it.
Yeah.
If we show up with hope and with possibility and with grace and with mercy and acceptance and welcome, if we show up that way, then there's a possibility that they might join us. If we show up with divisiveness, anger, fear, retribution, there's a possibility they'll join us, right?
Right.
But at the very least, the likeliness of them coming with the opposite is diminished.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
If they come with recrimination and anger when you come with joy, eventually it's hard to be angry, bitter, when the person next to you is going, would you like some pickled elf nostril?
One of my go-tos when I was working in customer service is, you have the irate customer who's just like yelling at you and you're just standing there just smiling and nodding. It brings their level way down because you're yelling at an extremely smiley, happy person. Like, you don't want to do that. You look like a jerk.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
One of my favorite go-tos.
There was a situation recently where two different people with power were in the same space, and one's typical go-to was to try and dominate, and the other just as that one was like, yeah, it's awful and you're going to be the worst and blah blah blah, and this person just looked at them, no affect, nothing, just made the person being the dominating bully have to switch tactics. And at the very end, you would have thought they were best buds.
Yep.
It was
Wild.
hilarious.
Yeah. Wild. But when we do that, when we come to a space with the joy of this season of Advent, with hope and possibilities, that's a great way for us to bring Christ into our community.
Right. That's
what,
how we do.
That's what we're trying to do. So
That is what we're trying to do.
we will see you Sunday.
Yep. So, hey, invite somebody to come to church with you.
Yeah.
That's one thing we do not do well as United Methodist is reach out and invite people. And if you have joy here, if you experience God, if you are finding yourself challenged to grow as a person, don't you want that for the people in your world? Invite somebody to come with you.
Yeah. And we'll see them too on Sunday.
Yeah. So, God bless you.
Have a great day.
Be joyful.
Yay!